this month on Images. Enjoy the tastes, smell, sights, and sounds of the annual Food Truck Rally and Sunset 5K. See one impact of COD Cares' efforts to give back. And get acquainted with Lucy, the new Student Trustee. All of that and more on this edition of Images. Welcome to Images. I'm your host, Rio Almaria, admissions representative at College of DuPage. Our program is a great way to stay connected with everything happening at your community college. On a picture-perfect Saturday afternoon, more than 3,500 people flocked to College of DuPage to run, walk, taste, and rock at the annual Food Truck Rally and Sunset 5K. Field reporter Zoya Kahn was on hand for all the food, fun, kids' activities, and the heart-pounding 5K race.
We're at the College of DuPage in Glen Ellen at the COD's Food Truck Rally and Sunset 5K. It's turning out to be a beautiful day. There are a lot of food trucks, there's a race, there's a lot going on. I'm excited to see it all.
The 2016 Food Truck Rally and Sunset 5K is a fundraiser for the COD Fuel Pantry, which is a food pantry on campus for COD students that's set to open this fall. So this year we have double the number of food trucks as last year. We had 8 food trucks last year, and this time we have 15 with variety. Each truck has a different cuisine. We tried not to have too many sweets.
So can you give us a 30-second explanation of how you're making these sandwiches and why they're so good?
All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and say is the secret behind these sandwiches is we prep everything in the commissary, we butter them, throw the cheese on, and the key is we crisp them here, so every sandwich that goes out that window is going to be fresh and have a crispy bite, and always the cheese is going to be melted.
Okay, sounds good. That was delicious.
Thank you.
What we essentially combine is generations of family recipes in the marinade, and then put those with meats like pork belly, chicken, ribeye, tofu. So that's for us.
That sounds delicious. I haven't eaten yet, so I'm really hungry right now.
With.
Okay.
Just with.
And whatever I make is tradition in my country. The name is empanadas. It's a flaky dog with different fillings inside.
So you're a COD alumni. What made you come back to the 5K race?
Well, as a graduate of COD, I feel a connection with the school, and a race is fantastic because it's going to raise funds for a needy cause, and it's a food truck rally. Who doesn't like a food truck rally? And it's so cool. There's so many trucks here, and there's such a variety of food.
Yeah, there seriously is.
It is. Everyone's happy and smiling, and it's a beautiful day, and who wouldn't love being here?
So we're at Touch a Truck, and I'm actually inside a fire truck right now. And this is really cool because I've never been inside a fire truck. And I got really enthusiastic and I got a helmet. Here's the horn, and this is massive. There's all these buttons here. There's like navigation stuff, and I feel really protective. You know, like I'm gonna save Glen Ellen tonight. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do.
This year we implemented a Touch a Truck, which is more for kids, and we have impressive vehicles that on display, like a backhoe and a ladder truck and maybe a squad car as well. We have ice sculpting with 2 COD culinary faculty members. We also have St. Baldrick's here, shaving heads to raise money for childhood cancer research. We also have several of our sponsors are here today with booths giving out goodies or playing games. I believe Allstate is here. They're going to do a drawing for a 50-inch TV. This year we have about 70 kids registered for the Youth Dash, which is divided into 2 age groups, 4 to 7 and 8 to 12. And they will run from the south end zone of the football field to the north end zone of the football field.
5, 4, 3,
5K is a Sunset 5K. This is the 6th year of it, and it started from an idea by Dr. Ken Gray, psychology faculty here at COD. And it has really grown. This year we have more than 1,000 registrations, which is a milestone for us. And we also have registrations from over 100 towns this year.
How's your race going so far?
Pretty good.
Are you having fun? Do you like the event?
Yes. It's awesome.
Were you here last year?
No.
It's your first 5K. There you go. Well, good luck.
Thanks.
Speed on past here.
Sorry now.
Keep running. You're almost there.
The course is 3.1 miles, CARA certified and USATF certified, starts on the football track and ends on the football track. After the race, participants can enjoy food trucks and then also the award ceremony where we name and award the top overall male, female, middle of the pack, and the winning teams. And then also we have a popular Chicago tribute band this year doing a concert, all David Bowie songs.
We had an amazing time at the food truck rally and Sunset 5K. We're a bit tired right now, but that's okay. It was all worth it. We had great food, met some great people. Can't wait to come back next year.
The 2016-2017 academic year marks an important milestone in the history of College of DuPage. It's the college's 50th anniversary, and Images is joining the celebration with a special series of videos highlighting personal memories, opinions, and insights from the college's earliest days and on. 50 years of stories gets us primed for Spirit Week and Homecoming with a look back at student activities over the years.
There's life to being in college outside the classroom. And one of the really cool things about COD was, and I think still is that that was not seen as just student activities job. Everybody did it. Each different organization or club had its own way of finding the fun. And making connections between and among those groups became an important commodity.
We actually, in the first year or two of the college, had a marching band for the athletic programs, especially the football games. Quite a participation in it, too, for as small as we were at the time. You know, I think we were something like 2,000 or that, around there. We had faculty-student softball games and basketball games. I remember that was quite a thing early on.
Many of the clubs that have started in the last, 7 to 10 years are of a cultural nature. And the ones that were here before are doing more and bigger things. And they're more connected with more parts of the college that are supporting them or what they do, the same thing. And some of that goes out into the community, which has to be good. In order for a homecoming to be successful, it needed to be the whole institution. Continuing it from year to year is an issue at a community college because of the turnover of the student leaders. So you had to have that institutional support. And that's there now. And it's there in a very appropriate way. And I'm really happy that the college is having homecoming, and it seems to be really successful on a lot of different levels.
When I ran into some of the kids I had not seen for 20 years, it was magnificent because what they're doing with their life and their families and things like that, it was pretty neat, pretty special.
That's what homecoming's about, is about bringing that bigger family back together. And it's going to be really fun this year. because of the 50th.
I was amazed and astonished to realize how student-centered College of DuPage was, because I had gone to institutions for my own education that were really focused very heavily on learning, not a lot of student support, and at first that was a bit of a challenge to me. What, do you mean you don't have your assignment today for class? Little did I know that student might have been up all night taking care of an ailing grandmother, working a long shift at 2 restaurants, having to take someone to the hospital and miss class the day before. So I learned a great sympathy for the students that had not been, of type of students that had not been present in my own personal academic upbringing. And I think seeing those students showed me a different part of the college and began to broaden my understanding of what a community college really was. And then I began to move from the idea that a college should be all about the head and the brain and academia and academic achievement to, oh, we're educating whole people here and we're showing people a completely different way of life that they have never envisioned.
COD Cares is a campus-wide program for students and staff to participate together in service activities to benefit local College of DuPage communities. As just one example of the many ways COD Cares reaches a helping hand, hear the touching story of a 6-year-old named Max and learn about the life-saving rewards of donating blood.
We knew before he was born that he was going to have some level of kidney problems. When he was born in end-stage renal failure, and then we did dialysis at home from 10 to 18 months. All children who are getting transplants that are 18 months old or around that age are going to need a blood transfusion if they're receiving an adult kidney to perfuse the kidney, because their blood pressures are typically lower than what an adult blood pressure would be to keep the kidney going. So they can give IV fluids, but they are always going to get some sort of blood transfusion, and there is some blood loss involved with the actual surgery as well. No one from our family or any potential donor for Max could not donate blood due to the chance of him rejecting my organ, or in the future when he needs another kidney transplant. So it has to just come from the community at large. Oh, it's so important. You never know, you never expect that you or your child is going to need it, and Max has type O blood. It's more difficult to match, I would say. We've never had to wait for it at all, and it saved his life at least 7 times. Yeah. Max is doing well. He's had his kidney transplant for 5 years, and he's doing well. He's just a normal boy. He enjoys sports and school and has lots of friends and just everything we would have wanted him to do as a 6-year-old.
Dr. Berg was the right man at the right time. He was enthusiastic, and I can recall he used to say to everybody, he said, if you ever have a proposal come to you that you're going to bring to me, I want you to know the first question I'm going to ask you is, tell me how it's going to help the students.
He would sit back in his office and reach down into his drawer and pull out a sign that said students. That meant whatever you were talking about has nothing to do with students. And that was the end of the conversation.
When you went in there, you had to be able to answer that question or you were dead in the water right then.
For Dr. Berg, that was the message that was drilled into us from the beginning. The student is always first.
They cared about people, getting in a circle, talking, interacting, and building synergies. These really creative, innovative people looked at all these alternative methods to try to reach students.
This college had a board policy called student development. And everything and everybody understood what that meant, that we were all here for the whole student.
The strong foundation is not based on bricks and mortar. It was based on a sound educational program of putting the students first. It's a teaching institution. We heard that over and over again. Now, the people who don't know what a teaching institution is, it's not a research institution. We don't have people doing research in laboratories. We don't have high-named professors who teach one course with 10 students and do their research, which is fine. That's the function of many of the four-year schools. Our function was to teach students.
Classes were usually around 30 in size, and we did meet under the quarter system 5 days a week, which was a little bit more exposure, day after day with the students, so you got to know them and talk with them. And I think, although there's nothing quantitative that you can show about that, I think it had an impact on students. And it had an impact on faculty, too. Yeah.
You never know what comment you make or what, thing you decide to talk about in class is going to have an effect on a student. And I think that was true 50 years ago, and it's true today, and it'll be true tomorrow.
A movement here to start an honors program. And we met for a whole year, faculty and administration.
Many of us on the faculty felt that we were spending a lot of time focusing on the underprepared student, which was rightly so, we should. But we were not spending time addressing the needs of those students who needed more of a challenge. There was a big campaign at the college at the time, First Choice, that the college should be the first choice of graduating high school students in the district. And if it was going to be the first choice of high school students, regardless of ability, we had to provide opportunities for students, regardless of ability.
Some people were reluctant to start a program because they said, you're going to skim the best of my students off and put them in separate classes. And that was a factor we dealt with. But by and large, the faculty supported it, the administration supported it, and the students came.
We eventually did get the Faculty Senate to approve it. We eventually did get the board to fund it, and administration was behind it.
I became the head of the program. We started offering courses, and that was the birth of honors.
When I was asked to teach in the honors program, it was up and running. It hadn't been going for a long time, but it was up and running and very well run. I had a great deal of support from faculty and administrators, and my predecessors had done a wonderful job with it. So I never had to fix anything. only had the opportunity to build on, and that was very fortunate.
It turned out to be a wonderful asset, not only for our students to give them opportunities, but also for our faculty to give them opportunities to teach in different ways, to rethink their coursework and how they approached it. You know, when you teach an honors course, it isn't just let's make it twice as hard. Let's pile twice as much work on somebody. What you end up doing is you enrich the course in ways, and it takes a while to figure out how to do that, so it's really stimulating to a faculty member as well.
I was working with the honors program at a time when I think everyone agreed that it could be expanded. We had 30 to 35,000 students in the school at that time, and to have an honors program of 50 or 60 seemed a time to really start expansion, and so I did work with that. I wanted to offer honors students not only first-rate academics, but experiences to develop themselves as whole people, and also propel them for the world outside. Because, as I say, our great aim was to get rid of them, and to get rid of them successfully so that they could go on to find another place.
A very important position in COD's student government is Student Trustee, the leadership office responsible for student interest and perspective at the college's Board of Trustees. Student Trustee Luzelena Escamilla talks about the value of getting involved and making the most of your college experiences in order to forge a path to success.
So my experience at College of DuPage actually started off in a really great positive note because I started working here at the Office of Student Life. And while starting to work at the Office of Student Life, I became more aware as to all the opportunities that College of DuPage had to offer. So then I started becoming involved on campus. So I became an officer of Phi Theta Kappa, and then that branched out, and I was like, well, now I want to be even more involved. And I met my best friend here at College of DuPage, and we kind of motivated each other. You run for president, I'll run for student trustee. We were really passionate about this community college, and we were very grateful that we were both here getting a high-level education and still having all the opportunities that a four-year institution has to offer. My passion is in education, and I'm majoring in political science, and I'm minoring in public policy. And I really want to go to Washington to study because that's the place to be for political science. But I really want to put an emphasis on education and how we can be making education affordable and attainable for everyone. I love being part of the board because I really get that experience to learn more of the political and as to what it comes down to really running a college. And then I also get the student side where I could listen to students and hear the student perspective and what they want. And that's why I was really interested in running. I had the opportunity to study abroad here. I have a job here on campus. I'm very involved, and I love that about this college in particular. It gives you opportunities that I don't know if in a four-year institution I'd be studying abroad. I don't know if in a four-year institution I'd be the student trustee of the college, but I could say that I was my freshman year of college, and I think that's the beauty of it. So what I would say to new students, new advice to new students is this is not just a place to take classes. This is a place to stay here longer. The longer that you stay on campus, the smarter you are because you're building up your resume, you're building relations. You also find a sense as to what you want to do. I found myself that the longer that I stay here on college, I talk to my professors, I talk to my advisors, and I change my mind a million times, but that's the beauty of being at a community college. You could change your mind however many times you want, and you're not spending $20,000 to do that. So that's what I would say, just be as involved as possible, find out what you really love doing here, and then go off and still be passionate about what you do.
The Disability Employment Initiative helps students with disabilities pursue computer information systems and information technology careers.
The Disability Employment Initiative project helps students with disabilities facilitate a IT career pathway program here at COD. The grant helps students either pick a IT certificate program or an IT associate's degree program. We help them pick the appropriate classes that would go with the program that they have chosen, and the end goal is to help them get employment in the IT field. And we do that by bringing together access and accommodations, career services, a CIT/CIS advisor to make sure that the student will successfully complete the program and we're not overwhelming them and they're not taking classes that aren't needed.
The job market for computer internet networking technology is a very broad market, and there's various opportunities students can go into. Areas such as help desk technicians, network engineering, technical support roles. It's a very broad gamut, and that's the excellent thing about those certifications.
Coming to COD, there's a couple of reasons that I would suggest they consider us. Number one is the fact that we offer a quality program that is combined lecture and hands-on lab. The students initially may not realize how important the hands-on portion becomes. And the reason I say that is students who finish the program, they will come back later and say, fortunately, and thank goodness, we had hands-on, because that's what got me the job.
If you go to a career fair, you'll want to have your elevator pitch prepared. I think a lot of students with disabilities aren't sure what track to follow. So I think it's nice to have a program that kind of says we're going to provide the supports needed for you to be successful. If a program is built with those supports and that structure, it definitely is more appealing than going into something that you're unsure about, whether it's going to be feasible or possible with a disability, and incorporating that into your program of study. And then there are, some employers that are partnering with the grant as well that are kind of already familiar with the fact that the students have disabilities, and they're willing to kind of provide that support and that encouraging environment for students.
We are the piece of the puzzle that helps students be more successful and have accessibility to parts of the program that maybe they wouldn't without us. So they would let us know what their needs are based on the specific disability that they have. And then we step in and we say, okay, what are the essentials of this program that right now are inaccessible to you? And how can we make that accessible to you? The disability doesn't matter. It can be a mental disability, an emotional disability, a physical disability, any type of disability where they need something to help them be more successful.
It brings the team together in one place for the student so that the student knows that we're working together as a team to help them successfully complete a program and find employment. The eligibility requirements for the DEI project are that the student is 14 to 24 years old, they live within District 502 boundaries, and they disclose they have a disability. The student can get started at the DEI website, which is at www.illinoisworknet.com/about-DEI. At our website, they can find out more information about DEI as well as sign up for the project.
There's always so much happening at College of DuPage. Be sure to watch Images every month to stay on top of it all. Until next time, I'm Rio Almaria.